Something is moving at the bottom of the ocean. 7 miles down, in total darkness, where the pressure would crush a submarine like a paper cup, scientists picked up a signal they still can't fully explain. This is not a legend. This is not a movie. This happened. And what they found down there may change everything we thought we knew about life on this planet. The Mariana Trench sits in the western Pacific Ocean, and it is the deepest place on Earth. If you dropped Mount Everest into it, the peak would still be over a mile underwater. The pressure at the bottom is over 1,000 times greater than what you feel right now on the surface. The temperature hovers just above freezing. There is no light, no warmth, no mercy. It is, by every definition, one of the most hostile environments in the known universe. Scientists spent decades assuming that almost nothing could survive down there. That the deep was quiet, empty, dead. They were wrong. In 2022, a team of deep-sea researchers deployed a specially designed lander, an unmanned probe loaded with cameras and sensors, and lowered it slowly into the trench. The descent alone took hours. As it sank deeper, the darkness became absolute. The world above became irrelevant. And then, at the very bottom, the cameras started recording something extraordinary. Movement. Not the slow drift of ocean currents. Not debris floating past the lens. Something alive. Something large. Something behaving in a way that no scientist on that research vessel could immediately identify. Now, before your mind jumps to sea monsters, stop. Because what they actually found is, in many ways, more unsettling than any creature from mythology. Because this was real. And it suggested that the deep ocean, the 95% of Earth's underwater world that remains unexplored, is far more alive than we ever imagined. Let's go back to the beginning, because the story of the Mariana Trench is already strange before you add mysterious creatures into it. The trench was first measured in the 1870s by a British ship called the HMS Challenger. They dropped a rope with a weight on the end and just let it sink. It took so long to reach the bottom that the crew thought their equipment was broken. It wasn't. The ocean was just that deep. That single moment was humanity's first glimpse into how little we actually knew about our own planet. For the next century, the trench was treated more like a myth than a place. Too deep to reach. Too dangerous to explore. Too alien to study. It wasn't until 1960 that humans first descended to the bottom in a submersible called the Trieste. The two men inside reported something almost poetic, a flat, desolate plain covered in soft sediment, like the surface of another world. They saw a flatfish drift past the porthole. Alive. At nearly 36,000 feet below the surface. That single image haunted marine biologists for decades. If something could live there, what else was down there? What had we missed? As technology advanced, the answers started coming in, and they were shocking. Researchers began finding entire ecosystems in the deep, communities of organisms clustered around hydrothermal vents, cracks in the ocean floor where superheated water shoots up from the Earth's interior. In these places, life has figured out how to survive without sunlight, without warmth, without anything we typically associate with being alive. These organisms don't use photosynthesis. They use chemosynthesis, converting chemicals from the Earth itself into energy. It's a completely alien food chain, and it works. But the vents were just the beginning. Scientists began lowering baited cameras into the trench, not at the vents, but at the flat, dark plains in between, the places they thought were mostly lifeless. What they found was a feeding frenzy. Dozens of species of amphipods, small, shrimp-like creatures, swarmed the bait within hours. Snailfish, pale and ghostly, darted through the frame like they owned the place. Deep-sea cucumbers crawled across the sediment. Worms. Bacteria. Entire invisible communities, living and dying in total darkness, completely oblivious to the world above. And then came the 2022 expedition, and the movement that no one expected. The research team lowered their lander to the deepest section of the Challenger Deep, the absolute bottom of the Mariana Trench. The footage they captured showed what appeared to be an unusually large organism moving slowly across the seafloor. The creature was estimated to be several meters in length, far larger than anything typically documented at those depths. It wasn't fast. It didn't attack the camera. It moved with a slow, deliberate calm, as if it had been living in that void its entire life and had never once been surprised by anything. Because nothing had ever come down there to surprise it. Biologists who reviewed the footage were stunned. Several hypothesized it could be a previously undocumented species of sea cucumber, potentially growing to enormous sizes due to a phenomenon called deep-sea gigantism. This is a real biological effect where certain organisms grow far larger in the deep ocean than their shallow water relatives. The pressure, the cold, the food scarcity, all of these factors together can cause dramatic changes in body size across generations. The giant squid, which can grow to 43 feet long, is one of the most famous examples. But there are others. And the deep trench, they now believe, may be home to giants we haven't even named yet. Here's where the story gets truly unsettling. The Mariana Trench is approximately 1,580 miles long. We have fully mapped less than a fraction of its floor in any meaningful detail. The landers and cameras we send down cover tiny, tiny patches of a world that spans thousands of square miles of absolute darkness. What we have seen is essentially nothing. We are like someone who shone a flashlight through a keyhole into a stadium and said they understood what was inside. And yet, even that flashlight has revealed things that shake our assumptions. Microplastics have been found at the very bottom of the trench, proof that human pollution has reached the deepest point on Earth. Organisms down there are consuming plastic. They have no choice. The trash we throw away on the surface eventually sinks, and the creatures at the bottom of the world are eating it. The deep ocean is not separate from us. It is connected to everything we do. It is suffering in silence, miles below our feet, and most of us never think about it for a single second. That should terrify you. Not because of sea monsters, but because we are poisoning a world we don't even understand yet. We are destroying ecosystems we haven't discovered. We are erasing species we haven't named. And somewhere in that dark, crushing void, something large is moving slowly across the sediment, completely unaware that the surface world even exists, while the surface world pumps its waste downward, year after year, like we own a place we've never even seen. The Mariana Trench is Earth's last true wilderness. It is older than anything we have built. It has been dark longer than humans have existed. And it holds answers to questions we haven't thought to ask yet, about the origins of life, about what survival really means, about how alive this planet truly is beneath the thin, noisy layer where we happen to live. The next deep-sea expedition is already being planned. Better cameras, smarter sensors, longer deployments. And scientists believe that within the next decade, we will identify dozens of species never before seen by human eyes. Some of them will be small. Some of them, they suspect, will not be. Whatever is down there has been waiting a very long time. If that made you feel something, if you want to keep exploring the parts of this world that most people never think about, then stay close. Because we go to these places regularly, and we bring you with us. Hit subscribe, and make sure the bell is on. Because the next time we go deep, you don't want to miss what we find.